Not only do I love literature, but I'm one of the last people on earth who actually reads the newspaper. And the newspaper and magazines too, like the New Yorker and Harper's and so on, are always a great inspiration to me in terms of the stories that you might find there. And so, I don't know what I will do with stories, but I'll clip them out occasionally, and maybe someday I will write a short story or a novel that illustrates them. In this case, there are actually three stories. One representing each of the characters, although, again, I didn't know this when I first began to write the book. It just kind of fell together. And so the first, which was reported in the press, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, an old man on a cruise in Latin America, in my telling, it's in Costa Rica, for my own purposes, was on a tour bus, and the tour bus was robbed. There were 3 assailants, 3 young men. One had a gun, 2 had knives, and they were robbing these old people. This guy, however, was a pretty vigorous 70-year-old man who had been a Vietnam soldier at one time, a Marine. And he just instinctively grabbed the guy with the gun from behind and put the chokehold on him. The guy dropped the gun, the others ran away. He didn't stop putting the chokehold, and the man was killed. The assailant was killed, for which this old man was hailed as a hero in America. The second story that came to the fore while writing this was that of Aaron Bassler, one of the many shooters that we find in America today. He was mentally disturbed schizophrenic, but like many of our schizophrenics, instead of being hospitalized or helped in any way, he was just given automatic weapons. He had grown up near Fort Bragg in California. He knew the woods intimately. He was something of a survivalist. In his delusions, he wound up shooting 2 people, murdering them, and then being at large for 5 weeks, provoking the biggest manhunt in California history. So, this really speaks to my themes. Here is a man trying to go back to nature to survive and provide for himself. And yet, why is he doing it? Well, because he can't live within our society. And again, it's a kind of meditation on gun violence in America today. Why? Where? How? And incidentally, I delivered this book in the fall of 2013, 9 months before the shootings here at UCSB in Santa Barbara, which were eerily similar to what I'd written about. Again, a young man, mentally disturbed, liberally supplied with weapons, whose parents, as in the case of Aaron Bassler, by the way, tried to intervene by telling the police that something is going to happen. My son is violent, he's out there. But because of privacy laws, once you're 18, the parents have no access to psychiatric records, nor can the police arrest you unless you commit a crime. You know, we're all addressing the mystery. All art is addressing the mystery to some extent. Why are we here? What are we doing? What does it mean? What does it matter? I mean, those are all the essential questions, and I think that's at the root of what most of us do, certainly at the root of what I do. Now, if you were to think about it in terms of the existentialists who unfortunately formed the core of my philosophy when I was at a tender age, it's all totally irrelevant. It's all just play games to distract us from the fact that we're just animals hurtling toward the graveyard, and that the only purpose of life is to reproduce more life. Nonetheless, for me, to go into this trance 7 days a week and be in some other mindset is a great miracle and a great gift for me. It does enable me to give some order to the world because in a given book or story, I am the god of that world and I can make the rules. And the rules can be arbitrary, they can be random, just as the rules that define our lives, but they can also have magic. They can also transport me. They can also help me to figure things out. So that, for instance, we're talking about the harder they come. I'm disturbed by gun violence, particularly in this case. Almost always single white males who are loners and disturbed, who have guns, and want to take it out on society, their hatred of society. Why is this? So I write a book in order to find out, or at least to meditate on it.